You've heard it before. A sentence so ignorant it makes you pause mid-conversation. Everyone else nods, pretending it's deep. But something inside you knows better. That's the moment you realize intelligence isn't proven by what you say, it's revealed by what you choose not to say. Fools speak first. The wise observe, because every careless phrase exposes more about your character than your degree ever will. This isn't about mocking others. It's about catching these patterns in ourselves before they control us. We've all said things we regret, but awareness turns mistakes into wisdom. As Seneca wrote, it is quality, not quantity, that matters in speech. Yet most men waste their words proving how little they understand. Today we'll break down 6 phrases that expose the difference between confidence and stupidity. And number 4, it's the one line that silently destroys more respect than any failure ever could. So listen closely. And if growth matters to you, subscribe, because this is where wisdom begins. Are you or do you know someone who always says, "I don't care what anyone thinks"? Let me tell you something most people never realize. The louder someone says that, the more they probably care. Because people who truly don't care never have to announce it. Real confidence doesn't need an audience. Only insecurity does. I remember someone from my old workplace. Her name was Rachel. Every meeting, she'd remind everyone how little she cared about opinions. She'd post online almost every week. "I don't need validation. I'm living my life my way." But behind the scenes, she cared deeply. When someone disagreed with her, she'd overthink it for days. When a coworker didn't like her idea, she'd text me long paragraphs explaining why they were wrong. She said she didn't care, yet every action said otherwise. Once she gave a presentation that didn't go well. The feedback was harsh, and later that night she posted, "Some people just don't get me, and that's fine." I don't care what they think, but she did care. You could see it in her eyes the next morning. That's the thing. People who keep saying "I don't care" are usually trying to convince one person, themselves. Real confidence doesn't need to be declared. It's quiet, steady, grounded. It doesn't need likes, approval, or validation. When you truly don't care, you don't argue, you don't defend, you don't post about it. You simply move, because peace doesn't prove, it just is. The Stoics understood this long before social media existed. Marcus Aurelius never posted about being unbothered. He wrote privately about detachment and self-discipline in his journal. He didn't seek approval from the crowd. He trained his mind to stay calm without it. That's what real strength looks like. It's not saying, "I don't care what people think." It's living in a way where their opinions no longer control you. If you have to keep telling everyone you don't care, you probably still do. But when your peace becomes so strong that no one can shake it, you won't need to say a word. Because silence is what true confidence sounds like. I know someone who says this every time they're criticized, and trust me, they care more than anyone. Who's the first person that came to your mind? You've heard this one before. "I'm just being honest." But here's the truth. That phrase doesn't make you brave. It just makes you unaware of how your words wound. Some people use honesty like a weapon. They swing it to hurt, then hide behind the excuse of truth. They'll say, "Your work wasn't good enough. You look tired. I'm just being real." No, you're being careless, not courageous. I once worked with a manager like that. He called it radical honesty. In meetings, he'd embarrass his team publicly, saying, "This report's terrible." Did you even try? 6 months later, 3 of his best people quit. The rest stopped speaking up. And when a major client was lost because he humiliated his own employee, he still said, "I was just being honest." He never understood. Truth without empathy isn't honesty, it's cruelty. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it's not true, don't say it. If it's not kind, don't do it." Real honesty isn't about being right. It's about being wise. You can speak the truth and still protect someone's dignity. Say, "Can we talk privately?" That's honesty with honor. Comment, "I know someone like that," if this reminded you of a name. Or, "I choose wisdom over ego," if you've learned the power of gentle truth. You want to know the fastest way to stop growing? Keep saying these 4 words. It's not my fault. People use that phrase to escape responsibility, and in doing so, they also escape growth. They'll say, it's not my fault I'm unhappy. It's not my fault the project failed. It's not my fault life's unfair. But here's the truth. Every time you say that, you hand your power away. My brother once had a roommate like this. Every mistake had an excuse. Late rent, the app crashed, messy apartment. I've been stressed, lost his job. My boss had it out for me. When interviews didn't work out, he said, they just didn't see my talent. But the truth, he never prepared. He never improved. He was too busy blaming the world to see his own reflection. Here's the trap. When nothing's your fault, nothing's your responsibility. And when nothing's your responsibility, nothing's within your control. Epictetus taught that life is divided into 2 things. What's within our control and what's not. You can't control traffic, but you can leave earlier. You can't control opinions, but you can control how you show up. The Stoic mindset is simple. Own what you can, accept what you can't, and never surrender your power to excuses. Comment no excuses if you've learned to take full responsibility for your life, or I know someone who needs this, if a face just came to mind. You ever meet a man who acts like he's got life completely figured out? He says, I know everything. That's not wisdom. That's arrogance dressed as confidence. The moment someone believes they've mastered it all, they've already stopped learning. They say things like, I know business. I know women. I know exactly how the world works. But what they really know is just their own tiny corner of reality. I knew a guy like that. Every meeting, he'd say, I know exactly how to fix this. He never listened, never improved. When the company upgraded to new systems, he refused to learn. 3 months later, the whole project collapsed. Not because it was too hard, but because his ego couldn't handle not knowing. Real wisdom starts when you admit how much you don't know. Socrates said, I know that I know nothing. That's not weakness. That's awareness. The strongest mind is the one that keeps asking questions. So the next time someone says, I know everything, just smile. They've already stopped growing. Comment, I know someone like that if one name popped into your head, or maybe if that person used to be you. When someone starts a sentence with, no offense, but you already know, offense is exactly what's coming next. People use that phrase like a shield, as if saying, no offense, makes their words harmless. But it doesn't. It just means they know what they're about to say will hurt, and they're choosing to say it anyway. I was at a dinner once, a friend's birthday. Everyone was laughing until one guest leaned across the table and said, no offense, but I always thought you could do better. The room went silent. My friend smiled through tears, left the table, and came back pretending she was fine. Later, that same person said, I was just being honest. No, you were being cruel and trying to disguise it as honesty. Here's the truth. Honesty without compassion isn't courage. It's arrogance. Seneca once wrote, wherever there's a human being, there's an opportunity for kindness. Marcus Aurelius added a test for our words. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If you can't say yes to all 3, stay silent. If you have to warn someone before you speak, maybe the problem isn't their sensitivity, it's your lack of empathy. Comment, no offense, but I know someone like that. If one face just popped in your head, or I choose kindness if you've learned the power of silence. You've heard this one before. That's just how I am. 5 simple words that sound honest. But really, they're the chains keeping you exactly where you are. People love using that phrase to protect their flaws. I'm just brutally honest. I've got a temper. I'm always late. No, that's not who you are. That's who you've decided to stay. I knew a guy named David. Brilliant mind, terrible with time. Every meeting, he'd stroll in late, laugh it off and say, "You know me, I'm just not a morning person." But when the biggest client of the year showed up at 9 a.m. and David walked in at 9:42, the deal was gone, and so was his credibility. He thought he was being authentic, but the truth, he wasn't owning his identity. He was defending his comfort. That's just how I am really means, I don't want to change. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind and not outside events. Change your thoughts and your habits will follow." Who you are today isn't permanent. It's practiced. Habits can be rebuilt. Character can be trained. And growth begins the moment you stop making excuses for your patterns. Comment, "I know someone like that," if a name came to mind, or drop "I'm growing" if you've ever fought to change and won. Every time you feel one of these phrases forming on your tongue, you stand at a crossroads. Repeat the same old habit or rise above it. That single breath before you speak, that's where wisdom begins. Growth doesn't happen in silence. It happens in awareness. And awareness starts here, with you choosing to think before reacting. If this message helped you see words in a new light, subscribe for more Stoic lessons each week. Lessons that sharpen your mind and strengthen your peace. And if this video added value to your journey, leave a like so others can walk this path of reason and clarity too. Until next time, stay grounded, stay wise, and keep mastering the art of restraint.